Hello guys and welcome in! Today's ESO log breakdown is going to be doing a deep dive into the Sunspire mechanic called Frozen Tomb. This mechanic is found on every difficulty. On normal difficulty, this is a commonly ignored mechanic, but on veteran and veteran hard mode, this mechanic becomes required, as failure to engage will cause player deaths. For the purpose of this video, we are going to be talking about tombs in veteran and veteran hard mode, where they are deadly. Before we dive into the ESO logs portion, let's first do a full explanation on what exactly is going on. Tombs is a heal check mechanic, where the dragon will spawn one frost tomb on normal and veteran difficulty, and 2 frost tombs on veteran hard mode. A ring will telegraph where the frost tomb is. This will be found somewhere in the back of the room. Players will have 10 seconds to get inside the tomb. If the tomb remains unoccupied after 10 seconds, it will explode and wipe the group, with the damage called shattered. In veteran difficulty, players that enter the tomb lose 70% of their health and gain a 8-second effect called Frozen Prison. This applies a substantial defile on the player. The debuff defile means that they receive less healing. On veteran difficulty, they receive 80% less healing, and on veteran hard mode, they receive 90% less healing. This means on veteran difficulty, only 20% or on veteran hard mode, only 10% of the healing from a healer is effective to those that have this debuff. This mechanic is a major heal check, which are far and few in ESO. It is a great way for healers to flex their stuff, and potentially very daunting for those less experienced. Today we're going to cover how you can read an ESO log so that you can better understand how other healers manage healing their tombs, or improve by learning more about your own logs. Every healer is going to be a little different. There's different classes, a variety of skills, and even different arena weapons you can use. And with that, let's dive into it. The first thing you need to do if you don't have a log of your own is you need to find one. To find publicly available logs on ESO log website, on the home page, you're going to want to hit this Trials drop-down menu in the top left corner. You'll see a variety of options. You'll want to scroll down to Sunspire and select it. By default, you are shown the best scoring groups from Sunspire as of this update. Additionally, the default will show you veteran hard mode, but this can be toggled to normal or veteran difficulty. Another filter you can do is, if you already know what class you are going to be healing on, you want to go to this drop down right here called Classes. And let's say you're healing on a Nightblade healer. So you will toggle down to the Nightblade healer and select Healer. And this now only shows runs that had a Nightblade healer in them. Do note that this does not necessarily mean that the Nightblade healer was the Tombs healer, so we need to further investigate. Now that we have our filters, it is time to start selecting logs to look at. When selecting a log, I tend to stick with the NA server logs because sometimes EU server logs have the names of abilities and skills in another language. So just picking one at random, let's select this one. And we are going to look at the boss, Locestes. Then let's go over to the summary and scroll down the healer's gear and skills. A typical telltale of a tomb healer in veteran is going to be this weapon right here, the Black Rose Prison Restoration Staff. This is commonly worn because it applies major vitality, increasing the healing taken on our target by 30%. which helps combat the defile debuff. Don't worry if you don't see this weapon on either healer, or on both healers in this case. There's another way to determine who the tomb healer is. We need to identify who are the non-healers getting into tombs. To do that, we want to navigate over to the Damage Taken tab and refine Abilities to just Frozen Tomb. With this filter, we can clearly see who in the group was affected by Frozen Tomb. From this, we can see player 11 was one of the ones who were affected. We know a who, but now we need to extract when. So to get this information exactly, we're going to filter for just that one individual. So from all friendlies, we want to select just player 11. So this filtering is for just player 11 and when they specifically were affected by Frozen Tomb. While you can get an estimate of the time in which they were affected using this table, I prefer to view it using events. This gives a time-stamped record of when they were affected by tombs. On this page, we will note at second 10, at time 137, at time 347, and at time 549. All the times in between the ones I just noted are the additional ticks of damage that the individual in tomb received until they are released. We only need that first tick of damage for what we are going to use this information for in the next step. So navigating over to the Healing tab, we can work towards answering who healed the tombs. We don't already know. We'll want to shuffle it back to tables and also remove the filter of player 11. Now we're going to add the source to be just from one healer by selecting player 8, who was our Nightblade healer. And then we're going to, instead of all friendlies, we're going to look at just player 11. This is all the healing that the healer did throughout the fight to this one player. This is not overly helpful. Instead, we would want to use the timeline view. And from that information we had earlier, we're going to navigate to second 10. On this filter, we do see that player 11 was receiving heals from this healer. If you don't see significant healing to the player 11 with the view of this healer, you can then go back up here and instead select the other healer, which would be player 2. But in this case, we do successfully see that the Nightblade healer is the one providing significant healing to player 11. And to break down what we're seeing here, we're identifying that as this individual was getting into tomb, they were being affected by Energy Orb and Refreshing Path, with tomb proccing right at second 10. Then this healer procced Healing Ward and a Healthy Offering. And by 8 seconds out, they were already good to go. And either they're healed out or they die, but on this summary page, there were no deaths. Then we want to continue on to minute 136, which was the next tomb time that we identified. So looking at 136, we see that there was again a Refreshing Path, an Energy Orb, Healing Ward, and then Healthy Offering. And again, we could continue on to look at 347, where we see this time there was an Echoing Vigor, and that would be a Healing Ward and a Healthy Offering. And finally, the last one at 549, where we see again an Echoing Vigor, we see Refreshing Path. This time we also see the addition of Healing Springs, along with Healing Ward and Healthy Offering. One thing of note here on the Healing tab is that I did not toggle the overhealing. which I normally do because overhealing is such a big part of healing in the Elder Scrolls Online. But in the case of Tombs healing, the effect of Tombs is negated once the player reaches 100% health. So you could toggle overheals on, but it's not going to look very different for the time periods in which we're interested in. If you notice, again starting at second 10, we're seeing exactly the same view because they're being affected by Tombs and every heal counts until they reach that 100%. So this is exactly what this healer was doing to give healing to this individual. Another thing to look at are the casts. This can be found by navigating up to the Casts tab. And we're going to want to keep the player 8 as this is our Nightblade healer that we're interested in. And with this, we can scroll down and starting to look at second 10 and see what exactly the healer was casting before while Tombs was spawning, all the way up to when our Tombs actually hit. And you can see that they cast Radiating Regen, probably as they were walking back to Tombs, a Refreshing Path, an Orb, right as Tombs procced at second 10. Then they did Healing Ward, followed by Healthy Offering, a Refresh on Refreshing Path, and then Tombs was probably, their first tomb was out by this point. And again, if we scroll over to the next timestamp, which is 137, we'll see a lot of the same, with again, Refreshing Path, Energy Orb, Healing Ward, then followed with Healthy Offering. And if you were to continue on to the other timestamps, you can do the same things. This is helpful to see what the healer's rotation looks like and potentially give you something to test out. Also, on this example, we saw 2 class-specific skills. I've identified another log that has a Warden healer. I used the same steps that I mentioned previously to identify that the Warden healer was the one healing, and you can do the same thing of navigating to their tab and seeing what their casts look like, with them using a Illustrious Healing, Budding Seeds, Healing Ward, Combat Prayers to get their tombs healed. Another important thing you can garner from ESO logs is in the specific case of someone dying from frozen prison. When that happens, you'll identify there is a death that is indicated by frozen prison. So looking at this log that I've identified, we see that player 123 died from frozen prison. So if you select, it takes you to this view. It'll break down a play-by-play for what happened leading up to that player's death. This can be particularly helpful if you're trying to troubleshoot, such as if your healing ward went to the person in tomb or not, or if your smart heal potentially went off to the wrong player. In reading a death recap, we start with the final blow here at the top, and we can see all the way back the last time they were full health. In this case, this was a death, and then 8 seconds before, they got hit by tomb, which is to be expected. This, we know they went into tomb at 100% health, and then once tomb did its initial damage, they were down to 25% health. We can see that they received multiple healings. We had Spirit Guardian, a couple minor life steals, and health recovery. Then they received Healing Ward. And one thing of note is that when a player is in tomb, they receive no external damage. So even though Frigid Cold is a persistent environmental damage, players do not take that damage while they are in tomb. We then see a couple more heals were applied from the Healing Ward and Healthy Offering. We had Healing Ward heal again. Here we had Symbiosis, Healing Ward, Healthy Offering. There's still that Spirit Guardian, Symbiosis. And continuing on, you can open up these multiple heals, see exactly how much they healed for, what progress we were making, And then we start seeing here at 2.62 seconds before this player's death, unstable explosion started. This is potentially why this player did not get healed out of their tomb, because if you notice, there's no healthy offering, there's no heals going to this player. Whenever unstable explosions are going off, the healer might have turned focus to the rest of the group, or their smart heals were bouncing off to other players instead of this player in tomb because they were at 87% health. So a smart heal would focus an individual less than 87% health. Once the relentless explosion stopped, then again we see one last healthy offering that did go to this player, getting them up to 96.9%, and then Frozen Prison hit, killing them instantly. So that's how you can better look and understand a death recap. And potentially one thing that could have been helping with this log is having a heal over time like Echoing Vigor, a Radiating Regen, some type of ground heal like Illustrious Springs or Refreshing Path, rather than just depending on a smart heal such as Healthy Offering, which can betray you. And one thing we can do to double check to see what exactly this healer was doing during this time point, we know that this was around second 43. We can go to casts of the Nightblade healer, go to timeline, and see at second 43 what exactly they were doing. And we see there's that healing ward, and there was healthy offerings. And then, yeah, so there was all these casts every second of healthy offering, but they were probably bouncing off to other players. But hey, this did make for a great learning opportunity for us today. And trust me, as you are learning how to heal tombs, there's going to be a lot of these death recaps for you to analyze. And there we go, guys. That is an investigation using ESO logs to better understand how to heal Frozen Prisons. We covered a variety of information about Frozen Prisons and ESO logs. I hope this better helps either new players learning to heal tombs or more veteran players looking to learn from top scoring ESO logs. But if nothing else, I hope you all learned a lot today, especially on how to do an investigation in ESO logs. If you have a specific topic you would like covered in a future video, make sure to comment down below and let me know. This was a request that was previously submitted, so I'm working my way through the list of topics. And I would love to add some more. Thank you all so much for sticking around to the end. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe so that you know whenever our next one goes live. And if you want to hang out with us some more, we're live multiple nights a week over on Twitch, so check us out over there. Y'all have a lovely day, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye!